2 of Madam Secretary is underway right now, right here on CBS 2.
That research station was approved by the Arctic Council. How are we seeing it as an act of aggression?
Exactly. It's under the radar. It's cheap. And for the cost.
Actor Julian Acosta plays the newly appointed National Security Advisor Craig Sterling in the show, alongside Téa Leoni, who plays Elizabeth, Adams McCord, and as the U.S. Secretary of State.
Julian is here this morning. We want to thank you for joining us. And
Yeah.
you get to play the adversary to Téa Leoni's character, and there's some fireworks, I guess.
Yes, there are. I do. I get to play the thorn in her side and pebble in her shoe.
Love it.
Although, obviously, I think that Craig is not only right, but has the national security interests of the United States at
Really?
heart. Absolutely.
He sounds so official.
He's believable, isn't he?
Official.
So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So is Craig Sterling a good guy or a bad guy?
I definitely think he's a good guy. You know, working on this show, you know, I've gotten to learn a lot about how a lot of political operatives, when they're serving at the leisure of the president, really are trying to put their best ideas forward and best advice forward for the leader of our country. So I think that's where he's coming from. There may be some kind of personality clashes between the two that may have to do with their past history. But I think he's coming from that place. They just have a genuine philosophical difference as to how best to move forward.
Kind of like politics today.
Absolutely.
On each side of the aisle.
Absolutely.
Your actor's journey, not a lot different than other actors. You dropped out of college, you drifted for a while from job to job, and then you decided, poof, I want to be an actor,
Yeah.
but you managed to pull it off.
I did. You know, I was drifting around. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up, after finding myself, I was installing alarms in Houston, Texas.
Really?
And I decided I need to go back to school, and I went to North Harris College. It's a small community college, and that's where I auditioned for a play. And not that I was any good, there was only enough boys that auditioned for the parts that were available, so I got one, and things just shifted from then on, and I knew what I wanted to do, and then somehow education just became the key for me. And you know, I finished college, went on to graduate school, and but it all changed with that.
Switch.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about education as a good segue, but you founded and are providing scholarships to students in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Which is where you were born, by the way.
Yes.
Which is where you're born.
Yes,
right?
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. My grandmother was an educator. She was a junior high school teacher in this small rural town in Puerto Rico. And, you know, as we've all known and read in the news, you know, the economic situation in Puerto Rico being what it is. And the frustration from one reading these things, wanting to do something and give back, you know, the idea came to me, and I spoke with my father, and we went to some friends in our town, and were lucky enough to meet with the principal of the same school where my grandmother taught, and began this scholarship last year, and it will continue on. So very, very excited and grateful to be able to do that.
We wish you the very best on that.
And we're grateful you came in this morning. And I know more
Thanks for
fireworks
having me.
ahead on Madam Secretary. You can
Yeah.
watch it right here on CBS 2.
That's right.
Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. So
That's right.
more battles.
Yes,
More
sir.
battles in the White House. Thanks, Julian.